Defend objective
Alright,
A.
let's get this started. Alright, you're chilling.
Together, we can
Shadows.
solve any problem.
Okay, walked in. This jump's pretty rough, right? Like, if you want to, like, fall back, you just, like, drop, right? And now you're chilling, right? You got the mini if you need it. You just hide behind this wall, right? If you really get pushed, then you jump, back, towards your supports, right? On this side, right? And you don't jump back this way, because this way requires you to bubble to live, right? Or to, like, do anything, right? And in general, you just want to hang out here and just, like, rely on your poke to, like, poke these guys, and keep you safe, right? If you need to back up, right, you back up to this corner where you're behind a wall, and your Ana can still heal you. And this way, like, if they don't push you, right, now you have free license to just walk in, right, behind them, and go for their backline or for the Widow, either through this path or around, depending if they go past you. And if they do push you, right, like, again, you got crossfires, you've got teammates that can shoot them as they push you, because they're pushing really hard to get to you because you're just sitting around the corner, right? If they go for your backline, then either you, like, jump in back, bubble them off, right, and then help your backline peel, right, or you just go for their backline, right, which is totally valid and it's usually actually the play. But in some cases, defending your backline is better if, like, them teams like really overextending, right? Then your bubble can be valuable. But this jump is just kind of rough. Again, like, you don't want to jump to, like, solve your problems, right? You just want to kind of chill, use this as cover, or back up and use this as cover, right? You don't want to use jump to solve problems. Shoot, wrong person. Right, so now you look at this Widow and you're like, I have no jump, I have no bubble, I cannot do anything about this. And whenever Widow gets to the spot, kills your Widow, and is uncontested, she kind of just wins by default, right? What skin is this? Interesting. Blue hair. Anyways, yeah. So whenever this happens, like, this isn't like I'm not saying this is all your fault, right? Obviously, like, Gabe probably shouldn't have taken the duel. This is kind of messy to begin with, right? Positioning's kind of whack. We have a BAB. I forgot about that. But this is definitely, like, a big mistake on your part, just to let the Widow roam free, right? Like, by, like, jumping here, using your bubble, right? Now you have neither to contest the Widow, and you're also really far, right? If you were here, you could still jump at the Widow, especially if you had bubble. But because you're back here, there's no way you can reasonably reach the Widow, and it's just gonna require, like, a long flank and a lot of time to figure it out. Again, don't walk away, right? The stairs are not your friend, right? You want to get as close to the Widow as you can, so you just start walking up and trying to see if, like, shoulder picking to see if she's aiming at you. If she's not, then you get over here, right? And then you consider whether or not you can jump the Widow, right? Do that, but again, it's taking your time. Right, she doesn't shoot you. You jump, you take it. Okay, so whenever this happens, right, you don't need to overcommit for the kill, right? We've already drawn 2 people here. You're about to draw a lot more in a couple seconds. You just need to sit in this bubble and look at them, right? And just zap whoever's trying to get into your bubble, right? You just sit here and, like, chill, right? You've already driven the Widow off. You're in the backline, right? You're doing fine, right? Just gotta sit here for a bit.
Barrier activated.
You take damage, right? Now you take damage from this guy. You jump, really unfortunate. Oh, yeah, unfortunate. This fight was probably already lost, but yeah, definitely didn't play too hot there.
Through the miracle of science.
Quick note, you can actually just jump across. But oh no, not this sound. Okay. So when you get here, right? So you just jump straight onto this thing, right? From here, if you just time the jump, you can jump from here to here. No jump pack, I guess. no shift required, right? You can just jump across.
This will protect us.
Or you can just, like, space your jump better and just land on here. But if you mess it up and you land here again, like, or you land on, like, underneath, you can, like, in the time while you're waiting for your cooldown, you can just get on top of this, jump here, and now you can just go for this jump again, right? So you can just do that while waiting for your cooldown.
Objective
Also, whenever possible, don't use your bubble. Just rely on healing to keep you topped off while you zap the Genji. He's gonna have to leave before you do, right? And then just, like, rely on your healing to, like, keep you topped off on the spot, right? Try not to use bubble, because bubble is really important for fighting. Alright. So you're scouting, there's no Widow over there. So for a lot of people, so you're looking kind of the wrong things right now. Instead of looking at these people on low ground, right, who are walking in, you should be looking up on the high ground to see who's like chasing your diva out, right? So if your diva's hanging out here, and a whole bunch of people are up there, and you're looking at the low ground, you're looking in the wrong spot. You have to look at the to see if whether or not your diva needs her to jump at it, right? In this case, probably not, but you can never be sure, right? So in this case, you got pushed by a Genji and a diva, and maybe you should have jumped at it, right? It's hard to say whether or not you actually should have, but you don't know unless you look. Right? So if it's a Genji, there's a mercy diva. Actually, in retrospect, you probably should just jump at it, right? Just jump at it, boop them off, right? Fall back to this position, right? And just chill with your diva for a bit, because they're just trying to dislodge her, and you want to prevent that. Also, if you know what the Genji is, you know there's no one going this side, right? You see literally everybody on the side, right? Like you saw the monkey down, you saw like the Genji and the diva pushing this, right? Just go help out your diva. It's good pressure, but you can be shot by main, so just keep that in mind. If this Widow was like better, she would just like stand here and shoot you, right? You'd be kind of sad, or anyone really. None of them are actually shooting you, but. Alright, they get the number to shoot you now. Oh, this is a really dangerous jump. Alright, if you do a dangerous jump, remember to play corners, right? So you jumped over the wall, you landed on their side, right? Like you dropped the bubble, right? Once you get here, right? Like remember to like play the corner, right? The corner is what keeps you safe, not distance from the enemy team as Monkey, right? As Monkey, they're not missing your hitbox. You have no damage mitigation besides the shield, right? So once you're committed, you're playing the corner, right? You're sitting here and you're considering dropping down underneath, right? But for the most part, you just chill here. If you get pressured, you can jump back towards your team. Or you can like jump to the high ground, right? And either force a big reaction and make them commit cooldowns to come kill you from underneath, right? Or if they don't kill you, you get a pocket from your Ana eventually, right? And then you drop back down on them, right? Or you like jump back up to this high ground and you chill on this side, wait for your Ana to heal you, right? But for the most part, you never want to retreat as Monkey by just walking away, because it almost never works, right? You have to play cover of some kind. Wrong person again. Alright, I got. Getting punished here, bypass, but again, like this is wrong priority. Like a Valkyrie Mercy, you're never going to kill, right? You want to go for either Widow, or where's the Ana, or just keep the Ana bridge. Like if you just sat here in this bubble, this Ana would feel so sad. She would never be able to cross, right? And then as soon as you hear Widow shooting your left, right? This Ana, you zoned her out, right? Then you go for the Widow. You kill her because it's a Widow, right? And then you come back and you just deal with the Ana again. And if she sleeps you and they turn around to kill you, then you primal, right? There's a lot of things you can do here, but like going for the Mercy is not the answer here, right? You need to go for like the people who are actually vulnerable, and like because generally speaking, Mercy is the one who provides healing to other people, right? She like peels, right? So going for the Mercy when like he's already hard enough to kill, especially when she's falcing, just like not a thing, right? Going for this guy, right? Generally this is the priority, but if you can block this guy off from ever getting in, like that's also pretty good, right? And then when you hear the shots going off on your left, then you just jump at it, right? But you gotta understand your priorities here. Wrong person again. You have Primal here, so I know you want to go to point, but if you just jumped at the Widow right now with Primal, like it would probably like still be fine. So once you kick the Ana out, right, just like all in on the Ana, right? Just start jumping at her, juggling her, and you start taking a lot of damage and start jumping up and trying to find something else to do, right? But you really want to focus the Ana, kick her all the way outside of point, right, all the way out to this space, and make them all come back to help her, right? If they have one person capping, no big deal, right? But like stalling against 4 to 5 people, it's just going to make you take a lot of damage, right? You really you make space for your team by dragging them back into their spawn, by just like constantly like hitting them like and drawing like aggro like in that direction, rather than like just stalling the point. There are cases where stalling is good, or even necessary. In this case, you don't really need to. It's better just go for backline here. Again, as soon as you're ending your primal, this jump is the most important, right? Your primal ended, right? You got nano, like this jump really matters, but like again, you just panic jumped at nothing because you panic jumped, and like where's the Ana? You have no idea. She's a little lower. The Widow is still in the same spot, has not moved. And again, that's primarily your responsibility, right? So. Kill her, take her. Another kill. Lost track of it. Out of ball here. Nope. Okay, fine. That joke is too far, yeah.
This will protect us.
You should go under and grab the Mega right now. Like it's your only sustain during these fights, especially when you're not sure where your healers are, whether or not they're alive. and whether or not like they even have the ability to heal you, right? Like because there's probably a lot of people who need healing. There's a lot going on. Just drop down, grab the mega, reconsider from there, right? Unlucky. Yeah, go. Oh no. Don't draw Diva aggro. Chilling.
Valkyrie is ready. Time to raise my BPM.
Okay, what's your... Oh, you're running Mercy Lucio now. Oh, that's awkward. So you have no range healing anymore. So again, we're playing for either for aggressive dives, or we give them space, so we can get like a favorable trade, right? So we give them space to let them walk in, and then when they commit to something, then we go for a backline trade or something, right? Because we have no backline to protect. But poking and trading with them is not very good against this comp because we have no range heal. Good, backline trade. Ideally though, you remember, like you want to land on high ground. So I know you jumped up here, but you want to land back on this spot, right? Drop the bubble here, and now this Ana is super sad, right? Because she can't even realistically sleep you, because you have a lot more leeway with how you play this bubble from above it, from above. Yeah. It's fine. You got the kill. That's good.
My servants never die.
This will protect us.
You should probably primal that. I know it looks like you're winning, but like, just you gotta be sure, right? Pop this mail all the Yeah, now it's getting ugly. Alright, you gotta you gotta not panic. Alright. So they're capping, it's okay, right? They can have point percentage, right? The most important thing, they can have ticks. The most important thing is they don't actually cap, right? So as long as you prevent them from capping, you're doing fine. So in this case, they're capping, but they're not even up to the first tick yet. You don't have to pop primal. You have time, right? You can wait for your next jump. You can wait for to use the rest of your HP, right? So the thing to note about primal is that it doesn't let you bubble, right? So you're not only are you losing like an extra jump worth of value, right? Or sorry, not only are you losing 500 HP worth of value, it's more like 350 to 400, right? But not only are you losing a full bar of health worth of value, but you're also just losing the bubble, right? And bubble is like one of Monkey's best abilities. As a general rule, by the way, if you're not juggling for kills, and you're just trying to stall, right? You should be jumping up a lot more, just like up and then redirect from there, right? So in this case, you jump up, right, to get vision, right? And you see that that everybody's moving forward, and you see this Ana's moving back. So then you like your next jump, you either try to land on her depending on how much air control you still have in the moment, or you just like jump up as you're coming down, like then you jump at her, right? Like you might even come from this unexpected angle. You might boop her or unexpected angle. You might boop her into like a weird spot, right? And then you just juggle her and kill her, right? You know she has no nade. She might have sleep. She might get pockets. Okay, right? Again, you're trying to pull aggro by pulling them off of point, right? Not by like necessarily like stalling the point, right? Because again, Monkey doesn't do much versus these heroes. I'm sure you felt that, right? Like after you killed the Ana, you came back and there was like you couldn't kill anything, right? They were all just like fine, right? So again, you want to force pressure on the heroes that are vulnerable, and that's the Mercy and that's the Ana, right? And Mercy's hard to track down. She may or may not have Valk. You'd rather just go for the stationary Ana first most of the time, right? So in this case, you just like primal, get on top of her, kick her around, right? Yeah. So again, jump up for vision, for stalling, and for like buying time for your jump, right? And then like you don't have to go straight up, but you do need to jump in the general direction of up, right? And that way, instead of just jumping across and just like not having any control of what you're doing, right? Oh my god, wrong person again. Right, like this just isn't very
I've sighted the enemy.
ball now. To be honest, I know actually very little about ball. So I can only tell you that it looks good. I can tell you why it's good. Or what to do. Specifically, I'm really bad at ball. You should be playing Megas more though. Right, so like when you do that, right, when you kick them across, like that was great. Like just keep rolling and then go down and grab the Mega, right? That will sustain you. Instead, someone else didn't use the Mega because you didn't maintain your momentum. Just roll through them, right? So they beat you with Mega. Now you sustain them. Also, don't forget to use the shield.
My will.
Ooh, that shield is really bad. Okay, so like in this case, like shields is 100 plus 100 for every enemy you're next to, right? So in this case, you got, it looks like a 100 shield, which means that you are not next to any enemies, right? Whereas if you like, again, if you went in right this, you just rolled in, you would get like a 500 HP shield just from this, right? Just like rolling in. So remember to keep that in mind. I know you probably won't play ball that much, but like shields are relevant, right? Because, right, so the mega's probably up right now. Let me check. Never mind, the Genji just took it. Okay, never mind. I was say you should grab the mega again. You should still check, right? Just look to see if it's there, because again, the mega is your sustain these fights. And you don't have any other healing outside this. And this is why Sombra is it's actually quite good on defense on this map, because you can just perma-hack that mega, and your team can always use it, and the enemy team can never use it, right? But like, again, check the mega first. It's your primary sustain. Focus targets here. Like you focus the Mercy bunch and almost kill her. You got to keep like looking for her and trying to kill her, right? Or failing that, just go for like again, bring pressure to the Ana, make her sad. Like you actually do so little damage to the tank. It's not that bad, but like it's not gonna save the fight, right?
Get in here.
Those marks are good. Got the mega. Again, like once you got the mega, just like keep going, right? Start rolling around, start setting up on the Ana, right? And then you can potentially just kill her, right? You're not limited to this section of the map. Like when you're playing ball, the whole point is the whole section of the map is your playground when you're playing ball, right? You can play any section within this area, and it's totally valid, right? Because like your ball and you have unlimited mobility, but you need to use it, right? Oh, that's awkward. That's kind of on you. Not really, but it kind of is. But yeah, you need to put a lot on more pressure during the fights. Yeah, somebody should have called whether or not they could So honestly, when Juan died, he should have called that like he's dead, and then like somebody else should have called like whether or not they get a point, right? So if like, for example, Victor is here and he starts yelling point, 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 then you or the tracer need to decide who's getting on point, right? And if nobody responds, then you're both going to point because you both have to, right? But yeah, C9, it happens. So anyways, key points on Monkey. Be mindful of when you use bubble. Try not to use it if you don't have to. If you do use it, remember to play around it, and then use corners. Don't run away from your bubble. The only time you want to run away from your bubble is if like you put the bubble down and they all start running into your bubble. Then you just like walk out of the bubble, and then you're still using it as a shield, right? But you still want to play corners for the most part. You want to play cover, right? You want to play high ground, right? When you jump the Ana, right? Don't jump at her, right? Jump on the high ground and zone her out, right? And if like she leaves, like she's gone, right? It's fine. And if like she doesn't leave, right? Then you kill her, right? Pretty straightforward. Yeah, use Primal more aggressively. Use it to actually isolate individual people and really chase people around. Like take pressure off the point by going deeper, not by necessarily staying on the point. Jump higher with Primal to have more control over what you're doing and effectively lower your jump cooldown, right? What else? Understand your position, right? So it's really unfortunate you to have range healers the second time you're here. But first time, again, like if the Genji's pressuring you, like just rely on your healing to get you through. You don't have to drop bubble when you're over here, right? Like your fallback position isn't like jumping away over here or jumping even like or really like any of that, right? It's really just falling back to these locations or jumping back up here, right? These are your fallback spots. If you really have to, you can jump back towards your team, but you really want to avoid that, right? And that way you stay in the general area so you can maintain pressure on the choke by going at the Widow, right? Once you zone people out, you don't have to chase them down to kill them, right? So once you get this bubble down here, you're just chilling. You're just trying to live to your next jump and get out. But you kind of like again, you force it too hard, then you panic. They ran into you, right? And then you panicked again. You hit your head on something. I forget what it was, and then you had to like walk your way out, and it was just really miserable. Yeah, if you have any questions, please let me know. Just to check to see if you watched it. To check to see if you watched this. When you watched up to this point, just DM me what 5 times 3 is. Not a trick question, just checking to see if you watched. Yeah, that's all. I'll end it here.